You bet. Okay, welcome everybody. Today is one of those days that you know you should be taking care of these profile items. So today we're really going to focus on the various platforms that you need to have your professional appearance and profile together. We're going to show you how to do them all. But to get started, we really recommend that you have a couple versions of your bio ready and at your fingertips, meaning that you have a Word doc or a place in your computer where you will house those bios. Some of your bios are 30 years old, and that's great, but maybe they could use some updating. Some of you know you should have your bio, know you should update your bio, and you just put it off. It's always hard to talk about ourselves. It's hard to write about ourselves. However, make this a priority because you need it. People need to know that component. So if you haven't created your bio or you haven't done it in a while, I always recommend just don't overthink it and include 3 things. 1, something about you professionally, your years of experience, your background in sales, your devotion to your clients, something about you professionally, something about your education. Maybe it's sales training, maybe it's a degree in business, maybe it's years of running a business with your parents when you were younger. Don't just think of education as school. We can do a lot of education here real time as you're working. So think of that. And then 3, something personal, something about you personally. You love to hike. You love the mountains of Utah. You love to explore all the natural national parks in Utah. Whatever it is, something about you personally, something that kind of differentiates you. Maybe you love to bake or you love to garden, something that resonates with you and could potentially resonate with some of your followers or prospects that are just getting to know you. So I'm going to share my screen and get rolling here on those components. Again, make sure you have that bio ready to go. So I'm going to share this here and we're going to get started. Where do you think we're going to get started?
I would say maybe the intranet.
Oh man, are you good, Joe? I know I never say this, I never tell you this, but start at the intranet. So we're going to go over several components, and the first component we're going to go over is your bio on the Utah Properties website. Again, if people know you're with Berkshire Hathaway, which they should, then you need to make sure that you're on our website. Now we have several landing pages that create custom websites for you guys on our BHHS.com Utah. BHHSutah.com website. So you just go over here to agents. I'm going to pull up my friend Carol, click on that bio. Carol has a lovely page with some information and some pictures of her and a little bio. I mean, Carol could have a dissertation written about her, but she chose to keep it short and sweet. And that is fine. You don't have to write a dissertation because no one's going to read it anyway, okay? And then we also included these fun kind of components where people can get to know you really quick. What's your proudest moment? What languages do you speak? What's the hardest thing that you've ever done? Things of that nature. And again, just quick, people will read what they want to read and get to know you a little bit better. You know, just quick kind of spot checking. And then it'll go into your properties. So again, I'm back on the intranet. And I'm going to go over here to Wasatch Front Marketing or Park City Marketing. And I'm going to go down to web request, website request. And this is the form that you fill out to create that website. Now, many of you have those pages. Many of your pages are blank. So please go in there, take a look at that page, see what any information, if you have any information on there that you want to change. Again, this is how you request a website and how you change it, okay? So anything that you want to include, you just fill out this form and you let us know exactly what you want. And the agent bio component, again, that's where you'd copy and paste it from that Word doc that we recommend or somewhere on your computer where you know it lives. And then you would fill out some of these agent profile questions. What are you best known for? Joe would be known for fun backgrounds on Zoom. I was born in Newport Beach, California, and that might speak to some people. Maybe they're from there and they would know you have a great reason that you moved to Utah. So again, fill out those forms, and then the marketing team picks that up. We create that page and we send you that page back live so that you can see and make any edits. Again, very important. If people know you're with Berkshire Hathaway, but you're not on our website, it's a little tricky. So make sure you're there first and foremost. Then I'm going to go back to the intranet, and I'm going to go back to the home page of the intranet. So as if I logged in for the first time. The second place we want to make sure that we are professionally poised is on the Resource Center. Okay, so I'm going to go to the Resource Center. I'm going to log in here. And the importance of this is for the entire network to understand your information, right? If someone from New York City has a client that wants to relocate, get out of the drudgery of New York right now, and they come to the Berkshire Hathaway HS website, you want to make sure that they know they can find you there. Okay, so what we're going to do, again, on the home screen of the Resource Center, here in the upper right-hand corner, you see my name and picture. If you don't have your picture up there, you'll just see your name. I'm going to hit that drop down, and I'm going to go to my profile. And again, this profile is going to feed into Marketing Resource. It's going to feed into all of the corporate directories, the corporate website. So you really want to make sure you're affiliated with the Berkshire Hathaway by having this. Again, every agent in the network, we've got almost 50,000 agents in the network. We want to make sure that you have a photo, guys. Okay, a lot of you automatically, Joe and I have automatically put your name in there because you're officially with the brokerage. But a lot of you don't have your pictures. So check it out. Go to BerkshireHathawayHS.com, search yourself, see if you've got a photo. But again, this is where you'd put that photo. Okay, so I want to make sure that my address is correct because that's again how it will pull. It's going to say Jamie is an agent or a professional in Park City. So make sure that you put your Salt Lake City or Moab or St. George so people can find you. Make sure that mobile phone is correct. Again, it's going to auto-populate with your office phone, which is probably the main office phone to Salt Lake City, Bountiful, Ogden, Park City. You don't want people calling the main switchboard. You want people calling your personal business phone or your cell phone. So make sure that that's correct. And you just come up here and go to that edit button on the right-hand side. Okay? And that'll pull up the component edit user. You can edit anything. You can put your nickname in here. You can revise your title, however you want to do it, but that's all you have to do. And then make sure to hit save here at the bottom. And then that profile.
Jamie, one note on this as well. Oh, sorry. One note on this as well is that all of the affiliated partners, like AdWorks, for example, when they pre-create your ads for you, they pull off of this field. So if you're going to run an AdWorks ad and you want to make sure that they're calling your cell phone or whatever number you have as your business phone number, this is one of those other things. In addition to having your presence on the national website be the way you want it to, all the Berkshire Hathaway corporate affiliates also pull from this information.
Thank you, Joe. Great reminder too. And then we do get calls all the time about the phone number on my AdWorks ad is incorrect. And then we pull up this profile and it's auto-populating to the main office phone number instead of your personal phone number. So great component. Again, really important to have it on the Utah property site and then all of the Berkshire Hathaway components coming here. So if you don't have a photo, this would just say upload. So all I can do is just hit change, upload my file. Again, great to have that Word doc, perhaps also with your headshot together in one place so that you have that there on your desktop. You're going to be surprised how many times you use it once it's there and available at your fingertips. So just check that out. The office update, let us know if that's incorrect. That's not going to be something that you can change because when we onboarded you or you are officially with Berkshire Hathaway Utah Properties, we designated everyone to an office. So if this is incorrect in your field, let Joe or I know, and we'll take care of that for you. Anything else here? Again, you know what, there's a lot of information here. I wouldn't worry about filling out every single component. I would really worry about the photo and these details here. Make sense, everybody? Excellent. Now I'm going back to the home page of Resource Center. Again, that profile in the upper right-hand corner. Now we're going to go into Marketing Resource. And I know it's a little wonky, but you do have to fill in these two profiles. So Marketing Resource, again, will pull from that Resource Center profile, pull in that information. But there's a couple more pieces of information that you want to include when you log into Marketing Resource. So I'm here, I'm under the Utah Properties profile. This would be Doug Park or Jody Fay or Shannon. So we want to make sure that you're on your profile, and then you just click it, and then you hit the word profile. And this is where you're going to come over here, and you cannot, if you don't have your photo on the Resource Center, it's not going to allow you to add it to Marketing Resource. They want to make sure that they have to have your photo in all of the other digital places for Berkshire Hathaway first, and then you can also have it on Marketing Resource. So that's going to auto-populate here once you put that onto Marketing Resource. And then you can adjust it. If you want a different marketing photo, so Todd Porter, you want to include your professional headshot for your corporate Resource Center account, but you want to include this really fun tattooed designed version of your photo for your marketing, then great. That's when you can replace it right here. Also, make sure that the website is correct. Again, this is going to auto-populate to Berkshire Hathaway corporate website. You don't want that. You want them to know that you're with Utah. So again, BHHSutah.com or stevechin.bhhsutah.com. So we want to make sure that you have that there. Make sure that time zone is correct. Make sure that phone number is correct. And then come and fill out as many of these profiles on the left-hand side. So you'd hit Save Changes down here in the lower right-hand corner, and then I'd go into Facebook. And I'd copy and paste my Facebook URL, okay? And 9 times out of 10, you're gonna want your business page, not your personal page. So keep that in mind. All you would do is pull up a separate tab with Facebook, go to your page, copy and paste that in, hit save. I'm not a huge fan of Twitter, so we don't have a Twitter account. LinkedIn, very important. We're gonna go over LinkedIn here in a little bit for having a professional profile on LinkedIn, and we're gonna go over that in a minute. YouTube, if you don't have a YouTube page, guess what? You do have a YouTube page. You can use the Utah Properties YouTube page, which is all area videos and neighborhood overviews and things about golf courses and the beautiful summer life and the national parks. So use that. If someone clicks on it, again, you can see that in the marketing resource, and you'll know that they're watching some of those videos, and that's terrific. That's a great thing to have. If you don't want to include it, then don't include it. Instagram and Pinterest, again, include the ones that you want to include. Make sure to hit save after every one. Sometimes people click off and it doesn't auto save as the customizing emails do. So we want to make sure, again, that we have all of that information accurate, and then we can see it when we go to the library and you go into My Library. That's where it auto-populates to the bottom of all of your emails. Okay, so it's automatic. Once you set it up, it's good to go. So take the 3 minutes it will take to update that profile. And again, Joe and I went over all of these, and if you were to do all of these profiles that we're going to talk about today, the website, Resource Center, Marketing Resource, Zillow, Facebook, LinkedIn, Realtor.com, and MoxieWorks, it's going to take about an hour. That's our estimation. It's going to take about an hour, assuming that you have that Word doc with your bio already ready and your headshot at your fingertips. Okay? So now, Joe, how is your connectivity to go over to?
Well, I can't get into my machine yet, but it's telling me that I have less than a minute remaining. So maybe we can jump down to another section where you can cover, and then I'll be back online here in a second.
You bet. Okay, so now, Utah website, resource center profile. And again, this is the order of importance that I would do, is those three first. The Utah Properties website, the resource center, and then marketing resource. Again, you know how much content we put into marketing resource, so you will have that ready to rock and roll. Joe's gonna go over Zillow in a minute. I'm gonna pull up Facebook for a sec. So I'm just pulling up a tab. I'm going to Facebook. Again, I'm in dark mode, so this might look a little different than some of yours. These are my pages that I like. The Utah Properties page is what I'm going to show you here. Okay, and the important thing, the number one important thing, and I can't stress this enough, there are little people that they pay out in the world to scour Facebook pages and Instagram pages for realtors. We want to make sure that you're in compliance. The only thing that you have to do to be in compliance is you have to include the full name. You guys hear me still? I'm getting some feedback. Okay, there we go. So again, making sure that you include that that full brokerage name. It doesn't have to be your profile picture or anything like that. It has to be present on the home page, meaning the landing page of your Facebook page, okay? So this allows the legality to not have blind ads, meaning you're not some guy off the street hawking houses, right? You're a professional, and you can market those and advertise those and boost those posts through Facebook once that you have, making sure that you have the one business page and two, the full brokerage listed. Also, if you have a cover photo, for example, this is the cover photo, and you want us to include a very light seal, Utah Properties logo here in the corner, we can absolutely do that. Just send us the photo that you want to use. Let us know that you want the cover photo and the Berkshire Hathaway logo. We'll put it very subtly and delicate there on there, and that will cover all of your bases. Again, it's good to know that you're professional too. So I'm going to go into the, we can edit, we can do all of this, but I'm going to go into the About section. And this is where I want to make sure that your profile is up to date. So that's where you have the details in here. I'm going to view as a visitor, sorry. I'm going to go into About, and I'm going to make sure that all of this is filled out, okay? So I've seen several pages where it just says you're closed. I don't know how you got it to the point where you said it's closed, but I want to make sure that you are always open, because guess what? Doesn't matter if you have 9 to 5 hours on your Facebook page, people are going to call you when they call you. So just put always open, okay? And again, if you want to see all of that information, just make sure that's filled out, okay? So that you're on this page, you're on the main page, and people can see that About section for more information. And that's where you can put in a little bio and shows your videos, and it shows fun things like Joe being with the incredible folks at Monsters Inc. So page transparency, again, I'm not going to go through all the details, but make sure that you have that brokerage information on your Facebook page. Again, don't write a dissertation in that About Us section, but make sure that you have that there. I'm now going to go into LinkedIn. Okay, so I get a lot of questions about this. A lot of questions about this. So we're going to take a minute to understand the importance of LinkedIn. Some people think, oh, nobody uses LinkedIn. Guess who uses LinkedIn? Who do you think uses LinkedIn? Professional.
I'm going to go ahead and say business professionals, Jamie.
Yes, 5 points for Joe. Business professionals. If you don't want to be a professional, you're with the wrong brokerage. Okay? Hope that doesn't scare anyone away. You're with the wrong brokerage if you don't want to be a professional. You guys are professionals. You should act like one. And the way you act like one online is to have those various profiles. You want people to find you. If you want to be hidden and you're scared of people, you're in the wrong industry. However, that LinkedIn profile is so important. People can find you on there. They can search you. They're looking for a plumber. They're looking for a professional advice. You need to have a profile there. So I'm going to pull up my LinkedIn page and we're going to go from there. Oh. Hold on one second. Okay. Apologies for that delay. Okay. Okay, looks like I'm sharing now. All the tech issues, Joe. I think we're using our computers too hard. Okay, so now I'm on LinkedIn. I just signed in. If you haven't signed in, if you don't have a profile, you just click join now. It's free, okay? Best price ever. Okay, you make sure you're not a robot, and then it's gonna go through a series of questions about confirming everything or adding that information, especially if you're not logged into LinkedIn very often, you go there periodically, it's going to make sure that all your information is accurate so that they have the reputation of accurate information. Okay, and then it's gonna pull up into my profile. So I'm gonna go over here to my profile and it's going to be this section. So again, I'm gonna go back here. It's gonna pull up into your feed, okay? Think of this as a Facebook feed too. It's just the same thing, but a slightly different format, all right? So you're gonna go over here. You're gonna see your face on the left-hand side. If you have not created a LinkedIn profile, it's gonna walk you through step by step. Again, a great option to have your bio and your headshot ready to go at your fingertips. If you do have a profile and you haven't been there in a couple of years, please go check it out. Click on your face, and then it's going to allow you to add or include more information and edit. Because you're signed in as you can edit it, okay? So I'm going to add a profile section. And as you can see, it has stuff about your background, your skills, your accomplishments, things of that nature. There's also an opportunity for you guys to request reviews or commentary about the work that you're in. So that is great testimonials that can be public, and then it can also be shared and used on things like your listing presentation. Once you've captured it here on LinkedIn, you can copy and paste it into your other profiles if you'd like. So I'm going to come down here, and it's going to walk me through components. So the About Us, the About section, that's where you'd click on that, and you would copy and paste your bio in there. Again, using those three components, something professional, something about your education, and something personal. And then you're going to hit save. Okay, and then you're going to come down here to your experience. What have you been doing? What have you been doing lately? Maybe you've been in real estate for 6 months. That's fine, but what did you do before that? And if you were a stay-at-home mom, then you were the chief operating officer of your home. So use some of those kind of keywords as you put in that information. If you have any questions or any commentary, I'd love to see things here about your community service, your time spent, you know, saving animals, whatever you want to put in here. It's all relevant. It doesn't have to just be jobs and school, right? So all of that is leading into your profile and what makes you you. So definitely adding some of that experience here. Okay. Education. Some people say, you know, Jamie, I just graduated high school. I got a job. Life took over. I don't want to even talk about education. Well, guess what? Education isn't just at the University of Utah. right? You can have an education as you were training for a triathlon. You can have an education when you are volunteering at the soup kitchen. That's a heck of an education, right? So think outside the box, not just the components of school, technical school. Okay, skills and endorsements. This is where it's really nice to have some endorsements. So people are going to endorse you, and you can actually ask for recommendations or endorsements. And guess who will do that for you? I will. I will endorse you.
I will too.
Joe will endorse you. Your fellow realtors will endorse you, especially if you go to ask somebody. I go to ask Ramon Gomez to endorse me here on LinkedIn, and I say I'd be happy to endorse you as well. That's an incentive for them to take 2 minutes of their time and say something very nice and professional about your communication skills, about your ability to negotiate, whatever you have those personal touches. Steve Chin, yes, you just texted me. I know, I'll give you an endorsement, sir. Okay, but that's really nice to see. Now, you don't have to have all of these visual, and obviously, if someone endorses you something rude, you can delete it. No big deal, okay? So this is your profile. They want to make sure that you have that. And then also your interests. This is kind of a cool area to go in and talk about your interests and start searching that. It's really interesting what you can find too. Bill Gates, I really recommend you follow him, even if you don't agree with everything he's about. He has some amazing content that he puts out, and it's all about charitable organizations and the future. So really interesting, quick reads. And that's where you can find some more content for your newsletter or for pieces of information that you put out. So it's really cool to see some influencers. Maybe you're a Tom Ferry kind of guy. That would be a good influencer. Maybe there's companies you want to follow, like Adobe or Berkshire Hathaway. Groups, there's groups like moms who like to bake, or guys who play golf, Joe. Or
I've heard of those guys that play golf.
Yeah, they're out there. Or schools that you follow, and maybe you're following Johns Hopkins right now to understand the latest medical research and kind of be privy to that. Again, you don't have to be active in all of these, but it's good to see what your interests are. So I suggest adding some of those here. Okay, and then you can go over here to add a profile section to your public profile. Okay, so you don't have to have this all public, but if you go to add a profile section, that's where you can include more on your page. Now, I'm not going to go into a LinkedIn tutorial today. I think we'll do another class on that, Joe. But this is just about to make sure you have a professional presence on LinkedIn. You guys, it's really important. You'll also get recruiters coming after you saying, wow, with your sales skills, Doug Park, I think you can be an amazing medical device salesperson. And it's just a great way to have your name public facing. And especially some of you do not like social media. This is a component of social media, but this is a professional component of social media. So it's really good if you're not a Facebook, Instagram kind of guy, go to LinkedIn. Again, if you don't want to do any of these things, you're probably going to be struggling a little bit with that online presence and people finding you. So Joe.
Just a note on that too, Jamie. And I'm back. I can share now. But just a note on the LinkedIn thing. In particular, if you came to real estate from a different industry, your LinkedIn profile, a lot of times people kind of don't remember to refresh it. So let's say you left the traditional business world 8-9 years ago, and you haven't been back to touch on your LinkedIn profile. That's one of the other reasons that it's so important to kind of make sure that your digital presence is always current. So great job, Jamie. Those are huge parts of trying to make sure that we're all looking as good as we can when we come out here.
And Joe, for some reason, I'm hungry now.
Yeah, today is ribeye day.
Ribeye day. Lovely. I'm coming over.
Come on over.
So, and guys, just keep in mind too, as you are making new accomplishments all the time. And if you want to use the company accomplishments For example, I just put out that email yesterday about we're the #1 brokerage in Utah. That means you're the #1 brokerage in Utah. Put that on your LinkedIn profile. That's terrific.
Absolutely.
So if you don't think you have anything to talk about or you're relatively new to the business, guess what? You're with the right company, and use our accolades. Again, they're all a marketing resource. If you forget where those are, shoot me an email and I'll send them your way.
Well, look, and Melissa Ballman even just said, listen, I've closed 2 transactions for people seeing me on LinkedIn in the past year, which is great. And Heidi chiming in saying, yep, and then also reconnecting with previous clients. So all that's going well. Will Cooper's declaring he wants to be professional. We'll work on that with you. We'll do some special one-on-one classes to make sure that you make the professional grade. Great job, Jamie. So I'm going to talk about a couple of your favorites, Zillow and Realtor.com first. We're going to get out of the way. Your personal feelings about these 2 web portals. They are the dominant eyeball catchers in the industry, okay? So regardless of whether or not you think that they should be banished and never come back, you need to understand that you can't fight this. You want to make sure that you embrace it for all of its worth, because wherever the eyeballs are, that's where you want to be. And so don't think you have to pay, because both of these portals that we're about to go through also have pay for agent services, right? Zillow calls it their Zillow Premium Agent. They call it Preferred Agent. They have all these different packages and other things that you can buy and work with them. You don't need to spend a dime with Zillow to make sure that your profile and your referrals are in tip-top shape. So let me just repeat that. You don't need to spend a dime with Zillow to make sure that your profile and all of your referrals are in tip-top shape. So this is how it goes. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen right now. So let me get this up here so we can see what we're talking about. Okay, so when you log into Zillow, in the upper right-hand corner here, you're going to be able to go in. You'll see this little Agent Hub button. Now, again, if you don't have a Zillow agent account, it's free to sign up for. So you go to Zillow, you sign up. The sign-up page asks you if you're a consumer, if you're a professional, and then you just click on I'm a real estate professional, and it'll walk you to the exact same place that we're about to go here, where you can build out your profile. Most of you probably already have a Zillow profile, but you maybe haven't touched it in a couple of years, which is why we're doing this class. So you want to click on the Agent Hub section, and in that Agent Hub, you're going to come down to the profile, right? And when you get into the profile, there's a lot of things that you can do to sort of help make sure that you stand out. Now, I've got my good friend Kevin Jensen's profile up here, just to kind of show you how this all sort of works, how this goes together. And come in here, you can see the way the public sees you. So for example, if I want to say, what does my public profile look like? I'm just going to open that in a new tab. So you can see this is how the public would see Kevin if he were to do that. And then down below, you could say, I want a review of my profile. That you only have to really do that if they're trying to block you for some reason. So don't worry about that. Sharing your profile allows you to send that to other people so that you can engage them and say, hey, come check me out on Zillow if you ever choose to do that. But this bottom one is what we're going to talk about right now. So you can see where it says edit, and there's 3 different sections. We're going to cover 2 of those 3. We're going to cover this first one, which is the actual profile, where you can go ahead and edit. So here in your edit, it talks about, Zillow's, by the way, very good at popping things up like this. When it says you have to do this, it requires this. Keep in mind, that doesn't mean that your profile won't show. It just means that they really want all that information from you. You still choose how much to that you like to put in. Kevin's got his full name in there. If you want, you can insert everything from your pronouns to your screen name. Your profile photo, you can go ahead and choose a different profile photo if you want to do that. Again, Jamie hit on this at the beginning. Having a current profile photo is one of the most important parts of becoming an authentic person. If you're out there doing all this great digital marketing and your profile photo is 15 or 20 years old, when you meet someone for the first time and you don't look like your profile photo, that's a disconnect. And there's a trust issue that's automatically engaged there, right? Because now you're like, hey, this is what I thought you were, and this is what you are. And everyone is beautiful. Everyone's beautiful. Don't worry about it. I mean, just get a current headshot for Pete's sake. This is part of like being where you are in life right now. I would recommend that.
The key word there is current headshot. Kevin Jensen, current headshot.
And just don't have yours taken in your office. That's the only thing I'm asking. We don't want the background where you look like Harry Potter been trapped under the stairs. But what we're doing here at this point is we want to make sure that all this stuff is of interest. Now, Jamie hit on in the resource center, and there was a question in the chat about changing your office location. When you're within the Berkshire Hathaway affiliate websites, like the Marketing Resource Center, your profile that on AdWorks, things like that, they are going to legally use your legal office address where your license is, where your active license is kept. Okay, so that's why you can't change that to your house or someplace else. It has to stay at the brokerage office. There's some legalities there that doesn't let you change those on some of those things. Zillow, you can kind of mess that around a little bit, but I will warn you, Zillow has changed their rules on this multiple times. So you can go ahead and fill this out with your home address or a different address if you want. For safety reasons, it's, put a public facing address on there that, might be your home. You make sure that this office is there and it's current. And so just keep it as is right here. Your time zone, your primary phone. This is one of the things that we get calls about all the time, Jamie, and her team and me and all the time. It's because where are these phone numbers coming from? Almost always they have on the MLSs too, by the way, both MLSs, all three MLSs, Washington County as well. You could go in there and tell the MLS, this is the phone number I prefer. Now, what does that mean? That means that when things syndicate out to other websites, or your listing is going to other websites, or you might be making an ad or something else like that, this is the phone number that's publicly available. So make sure that your primary phone is the phone that is the one that you answer. So if you put in a business number and it forwards to your cell phone, great. If you don't use a business number, you just want people to call your cell phone, that's why you want to put that. Brokerage, obviously, if somebody can't get a hold of you and they want to call the office and say, hey, listen, I gotta talk to Carl Ward. I don't know him from Adam, but I gotta talk to him because his Zillow profile is so killer. So they call the brokerage to try to find you. So you can put that in there. Down here on the real estate license section, I think it's smart to have your stuff in there. It's a bit of credibility. Jamie just spent a great bit of time going over the professionalism of having a really clean profile on places like LinkedIn. When you're on Zillow and you have all this information filled out, it just kind of ratchets up your credibility, right? It says, like, not only am I licensed, but many of you on this call are licensed in multiple states, or you've been a real estate agent in multiple states. You have active licenses there. So this is where you can go ahead and put those in. And then it will verify. So you put in the state, you put in your license number, expiration date, you hit that little verify button, it turns blue, and then Zillow goes and queries the board and the MLSs, make sure that you are who you say you are. Again, if you have them, great. If you're an agent and a broker, if you have multiple other things, I wouldn't suggest putting something in like I'm a licensed massage therapist. Might send the wrong message, but if you have other licenses that are related to the real estate industry, go ahead and plug those in. This is one that a lot of people get tripped up on, which is service areas. You can put in multiple zip codes. You can put in multiple service areas. We have many agents in our Moab and in our St. George offices that work Salt Lake City, they work Park City, they work Heber, they work Moab, they work St. George. Make sure you put all of those in there, right? Because this also helps when people are searching for an agent by geography. Zillow is weeding out people that are not claiming certain zip codes. So if you're going to be willing to do a deal, from Logan to, Provo or wherever the area of geography you want to cover, make sure you stick those zip codes in there. Or cities are also good, but you could plug all those things in here. Language fluency. If you do speak another language, I'm sorry, but Pig Latin is not an option. So I know that, Michael Hurd was hoping that we had Pig Latin in here, but it's not. So you have to just choose from one of their options there. In business since, here's a little tip for you. If you've been doing this for, I don't know, pick a number that you're proud of. If it's 5+ years, 12+ years, whatever it is, stick the number in there. If this is your first year in business and you're a little bit shy about that, don't fill it in. Right? Just make sure that it fits whatever profile interesting you want. Here's your agent specialties, property management specialties, other specialties. If you have a profile video, how many times have we had these classes where we said one of the best videos you can make is to introduce yourself and what it's like to work with you. Little 60-second, 90-second version of yourself. Jay already mentioned that even if YouTube channel, right? You could use a brokerage YouTube channel, but if you have a Gmail address, you also have a YouTube channel. So filming a little introduction video about yourself and plugging it in here on Zillow, the better off and the better positioned you are, because as people are scrolling through and they don't have an agent, they don't know who to pick. This is the kind of stuff where your profile is complete, it's rich, it's deep, it's professional. This is the kind of stuff that people look for. Here's your website, blog, Facebook, Twitter, those kinds of things. And then of course at the bottom, you hit submit. It goes through the process with Zillow, and then you have this really, really cool profile. The only other thing I want to touch on real quick up here, and hit the back arrow here so we don't mess up any of Kevin's stuff here, is on the edit. When you come down here on the edit for Zillow, there's also the option to edit the About Me page, which is also a public facing page. So as soon as you go edit About Me, this times, make sure you have your bio like cut up and put it on a nice little Word doc or Google Doc. And this is why you don't want to input this all the time. Otherwise, you're typing the same thing over and over again. You know, and just as a refresher, there's 3 things you want in your bio. Jamie, we have something about our profession, right? Our education, and something personal. So those are great jumping off points. And by the way, if you get stuck on that, one of the best things in the world you can do is talk to a family member, a friend, or a partner, and just go, man, I'm so stuck on my bio. Because some of us have such a hard time talking about ourselves. But if you get stuck, just go in there and give them those same 3 questions that Jamie already teed up for us, and they'll be able to help you out, kind of break the writer's block, if you will.
Or ask Will Cooper, because Will Cooper will
ask Will Cooper.
Tell you like it is.
And he'll say, if you ask Will Cooper, all your bios will start with, I love this person. Because Will so something that's public facing. So make sure that you have this sort of updated and ready to go. So that's the Zillow portion. I know we're moving kind of quick, but again, this is being recorded so that we can come back and you can take a look at it as well. I'm going to jump over to Realtor.com. Now, I want you to just sort of adjust your eyes for a second. The Realtor.com profile is not going to look exactly like this when you first log into Realtor.com. Just like Zillow, it's free to sign up for Realtor.com as a realtor. We have made sure that as you're part of our agent office list, your stuff comes over. I would say this is the most ignored platform. So I think Realtor.com is probably number 1, and I think probably number 2 is Zillow, or those are 1A and 1B, if you will. But this right here is something that gets a lot of traffic as well. So you want to make sure that your profile on both of these platforms is up to snuff. So what happens when you log into Realtor.com, you're going to come up to the right-hand side. It's different for me, but this is the way it's going to look, just like all the other places. You're going to hit the drop-down arrow, and you're going to go to Profile. So I've chosen our good friend Bruce Kipp to take a look at his profile. And Realtor.com does something kind of cool now. They kind of took like the Facebook sort of Instagram feel with like you have your profile photo, then you can have a background photo and some cool things like that. So if you work the beautiful Heber Valley, you might want to have a great picture of your Heber Valley up there. If you're working in Sugar House, if you're working in Sandy, this is all those things that you can put up there to represent. If you're one of those agents that's super personal, you might want to have a picture of, you know, your backyard or your dog or hiking. There's so many people on this call that have amazing interests, you know, and you could put like James mentioned before, if you're a fisherman, get out there. If you're a golfer, if you're any of those kinds of things, you put it out there. There are very few people that live in Utah that don't love something outside. Right? And so get a photo up there, and it's real simple. You just click on the background photo. You can upload it from your computer, and away you go. So you come down here, you're going to hit the edit button. And on the edit button, you're going to go through, and just like we did with Zillow, it's going to ask you a bunch of different things, name, suffix, nickname. So for example, if you're licensed, like my full legal name is the letter R, Joseph Lowry. Why? Because my parents were apparently on heavy medication when I was born. The letter R doesn't stand for a thing. It doesn't stand for it. It's not a name. It's just a letter. It's like, I don't know if they spilled the Scrabble tiles. I don't know exactly what happened. I've asked multiple times for the story. They both pretend they don't remember. But on my legal birth certificate from Huntington Beach Memorial Hospital in Southern California, it says R. Joseph. That is my legal first name. Now, I go by Joe. No one's ever called me Joseph. The only other person I let call me Joey, that's what my thing is. So I go over here, and in my nickname, I would put Joe, because if I came in as Joseph or R Joseph, I want everyone to make sure that this is how you can refer to me on top of that. That'd be funny if I put Joe on Bruce Kipp's situation there. So now we have a phone number. By default, it's going to grab the office default phone numbers. So make sure that you put in your mobile or whatever it is that you want to have in there. Current email address, professional title. So you could say if you're an agent, a broker, associate broker, assistant, any of those types of things, they're all right here on the drop down. And again, the same thing with like this years of experience. If you're newer to the business and this isn't, you feel like this is a soft spot on your resume, don't put something in there, right? But if you're like, I've been doing this since I was 14 years old, then you can go ahead and plug that in and away you go. I don't think it's legal to start when you're 14, but you get what I'm saying. Your specialties, you could do those things. Area is important, and then where your websites are, your video URL, slogan, bio. Again, cut and paste on the bio side. You put that in there, and then there you go. You have a nice living profile on Realtor.com. So, okay, take a breath here. Any major questions before we get going? I think we're good. Jamie, we good to kind of just finish up?
I think it's great. And we're just going to touch on Moxie. I know not everyone uses Moxie, but for those of us that do, it's really important.
I appreciate Swen. Shout out to the Josephs of the world. I got you, bro. All right, let's go. And we're going to finish up here with Moxie. If you're not using Moxie, we have multiple videos now available to have you go back from the get started beginning to the advanced to the virtual open house trainings. They're all up on the intranet, and they're also on our YouTube channel, BHHS Learning. You get in there to S Learning. But Moxie is a really, really powerful tool. And one of the reasons Jamie and I love this platform so much is that they keep adding features, and they don't charge us for the new features. That's a good vendor, right? So they keep making this better, and we just keep bringing that to you. When I go up here to the upper right-hand corner, isn't it interesting that almost all these profiles start with the upper right-hand corner? We're going to go to the upper right-hand corner, and if you haven't uploaded a photo yet, it'll just have an initial. So I'm going to hit my drop-down menu, and I'm going to come down here. I'm going to go to My Account. Now it's going to open a new tab when you do that, okay? So you see how it's just opened this new tab next to my other tab? And I come to my visual profile page for Moxie. So the first thing you might want to do is update your photo. Now, I get a lot of questions on this. That is not me. It's not one of my children. Many moons ago, there was a meme across the internet that was the "Oh yeah kid" meme. This is just the "Oh yeah kid." So that's all. Something else, you would just hit right here and you can upload whatever photo that you want. And then sometimes it's really easy to get stuck on Moxie because the way that their user interface is wired is that you can't click on any of these things to edit them. You got to go over here and click the pencil. So just like when Jamie was showing on a resource center, how you have to hit that edit button on your profile before any of the fields become editable, it's the same thing here in Moxie. You got to hit the pencil before any of these fields become editable. The photo you can upload, the pencil has to do with everything else. So it comes down here, and there are three sections. There's your personal info, there's your contact info, and then there's your web info. So we'll start over here on the personal info, and it basically tells you every time we run reports, do you want me to show this kind of stuff, right? In your own reporting. So you can, this is where you can change your first, last name, your title, designations, you can go ahead and do that there. Your time zone, your contact info, which is what, primarily when you build a CMA, this is really what you want to focus on. This is where you can make sure that you have the kind of phone number that matters to you, right? So that you have the right phone number. Excuse me, you have the right email. Then you have your direct phone and your mobile phone, and then you can go through and fill out the rest of the stuff. Now, this last page is the one you can have some fun with. This is web info, pardon me. So this is all about when you're inside of Moxie and you have on your pages, when it says about you, it's the agent bio, this is where it's pulling from. So you can have a title that you want to put in there. paragraph, like a title. Like there's so many of our agents have these, you know, brilliant things. A lot of you guys have named your DBAs like what you are, you know, like all these different kinds of taglines that you use that you've paid for, that maybe even are your email address or they're on your website. That should be part of your title, right? And again, so here's what's this, Jamie, the sixth time that if you have your bio already written, you can cut and paste and just stick it into other places. So this is where you get to that, the paragraph here. So you can come in here and you can, you know, write whatever you want, bullet points, you can do all that. All these little options up here allow you to embed a link if you choose to. You can change the font size, bold, not bold, that kind of information. Put your website in, your social media information. Now, again, we've tried very hard to make sure that you know what's available to you, right? But sometimes you're not interested in some of these things. Jamie said from the beginning that she wasn't big on Twitter. So there's no reason to put in a Twitter handle if you're not on Twitter. If you're not on Instagram, and that's not something that you have to fill in your Instagram page. If you're a heavy Facebook user, then by all means, make sure your Facebook's in there. If you're a heavy Instagram user, by all means, put that in there. Again, a place for YouTube. You guys, you're seeing a pattern here that with video, YouTube is an incredibly powerful platform that is free. And then, of course, Pinterest. Blogger's still around. That's super cute. I wonder if that's going to come off in the next year. But anyway, that's that information. So once you get that filled in, then you got to come up here and you got to click the save button, right? A million times that Moxie is a great platform because no matter what you do, auto save here while you're building. So if you fill this information out, upper right hand corner, and hit save. And that is how you update your Moxie profile. And Jamie, I think that puts us to the end of the list we want to cover, right?
And we did it in an hour, Joe. People said it couldn't be done, but we did it. Brad has a question on the Resource Center. I'm going to unmute you, Brad, so that you can ask, okay? So Brad,
Thanks,
go ahead.
So something I tried to do and was unsuccessful was on the profile for my Resource Center. So the signature that appears on any of the marketing materials that I send out, I wanted to add the link to my app, my Berkshire Hathaway app. I wanted to add that link to the signature so that people are able to access that every time they see a marketing piece from me. Is there a way that we can add that to the signature?
There's a way we can ask them to update that or to add additional links field. Because the Resource Center does so much mass emailing, they are under strict scrutiny from the FCC. And embedding live links in certain types of documentation is a red flag for a lot of FCC. Even though we're not doing anything illegal, it flags them. So they're incredibly cautious about where the live links are, which is why you can embed live links and videos in the body of the content, but not below, right? So that's a great question. Jamie and I will go ahead and submit a request because you can do one that is your website. So we'll suggest that on the signature, if we can have another one that's a live link for an app download.
Okay, thanks.
That's a great suggestion. Yeah, that's good.
Love it. Heidi Ingham, I don't know what that means, so I'm going to unmute you here so that you can clarify that for us and hopefully we can get this resolved.
Are you referring to my last question with regards to updating signature on resource pieces?
Yes, on everything that you send, because I know you send a lot of things through Resource Girl.
Yes, I do. So sometimes I'll just go into a previous one if I like the template, and that's got my saved signature. So where I'm updating my signature with associate broker or my my sales level or whatever it might be. Kind of to Brad's point, is there a way that we can update those signatures with information that we can consistently send out, so we don't have to update the signature based on what the piece is.
Yeah. So first I would go into the Resource Center profile. So on the homepage of Resource Center, not in Marketing Resource, get everything as updated as you can in there. And then if we want to add an additional link field, we can definitely do that. So I would try first going into the Resource Center profile and then into the Marketing Resource profile.
And Heidi sent me a chat earlier, Jamie. That was a really good question. There are certain designations that Berkshire Hathaway Corporate doesn't allow you to choose yourself. The luxury designation is one of them. If you don't have your broker license with your MLS, it's not going to let you just automatically choose that you're a broker, an associate broker. So if you're stuck in that window, just send an email to Jamie. I think Jamie is our title designation specialist for our brokerage, and she'll, Jamie will know. So like Heidi, we talked about luxury designation. We know your luxury designation is already there, but Jamie has to check a box, and then that allows that title to move over. So there's a couple of those titles. So if you're clicking through and you're saying, why can't this move over? That's because there's a backstop that the brokerage has to verify that, yes, Heidi is the bomb. She's luxury agent. That's how that works.
I think that's what she should just put in her signature, is the bomb. I mean,
yes,
just kind of
but Heidi would not do the crass DABOM. She is incredibly fluent and incredibly beautiful with language. The last thing we'd want is a da bomb for Heidi. That would be horrible.
It would be spelled out for sure.
It would be spelled out
for sure.
Yes.
Okay, well, we are hitting our exact time limits. Any other questions? Just shoot us an email, shoot us a text. Joe and I are here for you, as is the entire marketing team. You guys have a great rest of your Friday and enjoy your weekend. We'll talk soon. Take care.
Bye, everybody.